here with Army co-offensive coordinator Matt Drinkall. This is the first full pads practice of preseason camp. Maybe I just ask you about that first. What you think it was like, especially coming from the offensive line perspective?
Yeah, it's great. Anytime you can get in full gear and get after it and start to build on your fundamentals and work some of the basics, it's always really good. And then you combine that with our physicality and attention to detail, and that's what you're trying to get out of these practices.
What with the offensive line, you and Coach Vitti, you guys both coaching the offensive line for the first time together this year. Didn't get a chance to ask you how's that working relation. I'm guessing it's pretty much high and it's very intense to be in an offensive line drill here at Army.
Yeah, no doubt. So Coach Vitti and I are really good complements to each other because we're pretty much, anyone who knows us, we're polar opposites. And Mike Vitti is like Mr. West Point. This place is perfect for him. So what he can bring to the kids from how to do anything perfect, like that's the best part about working with Vitti is, in 2 weeks he could be the best astronaut or the best coach or the best lawyer or anything like that. It's just who he is. So he's really, really good for that. And then I've spent my whole career in offenses like this. So we do a really good job, I think, of balancing each other out and giving the kids a well-rounded experience.
Talking to Connor Finucane earlier in camp, and just the guy, man, some of the answers that he gives in press conferences are so well thought out, and I feel like he's already knows the answers before he even asks the questions sometimes. And he talked a little bit about how he made the Mob Bible guide to blocking in the old offense before, and just maybe what's it like to coach a guy like Connor and his intelligence, his IQ level, what he brings to the team.
So this is my 21st year coaching, and I have never experienced a player like Connor Finucane, who is truly immersed in being excellent in everything that he does. Not getting through it, not a result-oriented guy, but really immersed in the process. And he is incredibly intelligent. He's 10 times smarter than I could ever think about being, and he's so meticulous and detail-oriented. And Coach Vitti was his area recruiter out of high school, so I think when those two linked up, that was probably a pretty fast recruiting process because they're peas in a pod, those two. But everything that we get, Coach Munkin has a very specific vision for how this program should look and operate, and Connor Finucane embodies every part of it. Who he is as a person, how he is mentally, how he is in preparation, execution, attention to detail, mental toughness, physical toughness. He is exactly what you're looking for.
And as a coach, when you're moving to a new offense this year, and the schemes are going to change, the blocking schemes are going to change, and have a guy who can work with the veteran guys as much as the younger guys, and he probably seems like it was a good adjustment for him.
Yeah, he's probably a little intimidating for the younger guys because he seems like, my wife met him and she's like, who's that? And she thought he was like a coach or an alumni or something. I'm like, that guy's 20 years old. So, but he just does. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's like an extra coach in a meeting room. He is like an extra coach in the dorms, and I mean, what he does is so unbelievable. And then, what we switched to offensively, it's not as big of a learning curve because we had kind of been much more of a power run offense before, but then so many more kids run an offense similar to this in high school. So the transitional piece of it is a lot lower maintenance on everybody than what you think.
Tyson Riley, got a chance to talk to him earlier in camp, and just his versatility. You guys, he was running a lot out of the triple option last year, and this year maybe the role changes, but he's going to have a smile on his face and go to work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Tyson is incredibly unique because it's so hard to find somebody that is as dynamic as he is, period, but let alone a guy who's 6'2", 6'3", 260 pounds. So he can line up and play tailback. He can split out and play wide receiver. He can be an off-ball tight end. He played quarterback when he went to the prep school here. I mean, the guy can do everything. And he's I guess, maybe the best compliment you could give Tyson is he could probably be a starter at almost every position on the whole field if he dedicated himself to it. So what he gives us from a flexibility standpoint is almost impossible to match.
Last one, who's kind of jumped out early in camp for you on the offensive line? Who's the guy who's really kind of stepped up his game from maybe the spring to the fall? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
Yeah, all the veteran guys that went through spring all took tremendous strides forward. So I don't want to give like a cop-out answer, but we really feel good about our two deep at O-line. I mean, just across the board. And what's going to be really exciting is the competition is bottlenecking towards the top. So these guys, the competition is going to be constant and sustained, and that's really, competition breeds excellence. So, you know, Shane Buckingham's doing a great job. Jackson Filipowicz has been really consistent. He's playing interior guy for us. Booby Law continues to do a great job. Matthew Adoge has come along. He's a guy who hasn't really played a whole lot in his career, but he's a, you know, 6'4", 6'5", 330 pounds and moves like a cat. So he came here from Nigeria when he was 14 and was a big soccer background. So really unique. But then we've got some of those younger guys that are stepping up and stepped up so much that they're going to be competing. So we're really excited to get to some of the scrimmages and see how it shakes out.